Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I will be introducing you all to my wife for the very first time. She's a newcomer in Canada and have been here for about 2 months now. In this video, she will be sharing her experience on how her journey from India to Canada was. She will also share her thoughts on how she finds Canada so far. Does she like it or does she not? How was her experience in her first few days in Canada and all that. So without any further waiting, let's get started. And here she is.
Hi everyone, how are you all? Welcome back to our channel.
Okay, so should we get started?
Yeah.
Okay, so my first question is, how was your experience at the airport, pre-boarding the flight, during the flight, and after you landed in Canada?
Okay, so most of my hard work was taken by the pre-boarding flight process. First, I had to book myself a date for the COVID testing, and that took a lot of time. And then I also had to make sure that I'm only getting myself tested within the 72 hours time period before boarding the flight. Unfortunately, you living in Canada couldn't help me in this process, so I had to take my father's and father-in-law's help. On top of that, visiting the center and actually getting tested was a big nightmare for me. Honestly speaking, I did not wanted to go through the testing procedure. That is letting a long Q-tip inside my nose, and I seriously was very scared, but somehow everything went well. And about 12 hours before my flight, I got negative results. Later, you told me that I also had to give another test when I land in Canada. Seriously, I was just crossed by even thinking about giving that test again. But anyways, I somehow made myself ready for it because it had to be done no matter what. On top of that, I was also worried about the weight of my luggage. I took a direct flight from Delhi to Toronto, and as you know, you only get 2 luggages and that only 23 kgs each. So in total, 46 kgs, and that was not at all enough for me. I don't know how other people manage, but guys, I have no idea how I brought my luggage down to 23 kgs. You will not believe how many kilos of important stuff I had to leave behind to match the luggage requirement. And then the time to board my flight arrived. Everything went smooth. Luckily, my luggage weighted just as the allowed limit. The immigration lady at the airport didn't ask me many questions as I already provided her with all the documents she wanted to look at. The documents that I carried with myself were my passport, one more ID, my COVID test report, my COPR, my husband's PR card, to show them that I'm actually going to meet my spouse in Canada, a screenshot of my arrive-can info, my flight detail, and most importantly, a letter from my husband with all details that where I'm going to stay and spend my quarantine while in Canada. Make sure you have your spouse prepare a letter like that for you before you come over. So the security went very smooth, but the flight was jam-packed. Nobody was maintaining any physical distance, and also it's very hard to maintain any in flight, but there was no seat gap between each passenger. Later, I arrived at the Toronto Pearson airport. Everything went very well. The immigration officer didn't ask me a lot of questions as I already provided them all the documents beforehand. Then I went further for my second COVID test. There they asked me to log in into something called the portal switch. It basically had all my info on it before I gave my COVID sample. I received the results online after about 2 days and it was negative. Luckily, I did not have to stay in a hotel because the hotel quarantine rule came 2 days after I arrived. Later, I proceeded towards the parking lot where my husband was waiting for me. I was just so happy to see him after such a long time. I couldn't even explain. That was one of the best feelings in the world.
Okay, so my second question is, did you face any problems at the immigration after you landed at the airport?
Okay, so I don't think I really faced any serious problem. Earlier, I was really scared how I was going to get my luggage back. How will I pass through the immigration and security check? How will I be able to give my second COVID test again? But everything went well and also without anyone's help. It's because my husband has been training me and teaching me a few days before my flight on what I need to do at what point. So that really helped me calm myself. The immigration officer first asked me about my COPR and passport and my COVID test report, and then they informed me on how long will it take to send me my PR card. The only thing that I didn't like was that I had to wait for more than an hour before I was actually able to meet the officer, not because there were a lot of people people there, but because whoever was there didn't have all the required documents to pass through. So passing the immigration really took me a lot of time. Then after I cleared my immigration, I took my luggage and then I proceeded toward my second COVID test. The volunteer working there was very friendly. I was very scared at first, but he calmed me down and then went ahead and took all the samples. That thing just took around 10 to 15 minutes. Later, as I had already connected my phone to the airport's Wi-Fi, I just called my husband and he told me the directions to come to him, and then I was officially here.
Okay, so my third question is, what did you do in your first few days in Canada?
So first of all, I had to complete my 14 days quarantine at home. So I didn't even step out of my house for these 14 days. Fortunately, my husband was also working from home in those days and still working, so I didn't really feel how those 14 days passed. Then as soon as my quarantine was over, I first headed towards the Service Canada location to get a SIN for myself, which is the social insurance number. We did not need to book an appointment before going there because it was my first time, and the first time SIN applicants are allowed to go without an appointment. That took me around an hour, and then we proceeded towards the Service Ontario location to apply for health card. When we arrived there, the officer asked me for a Canadian ID, which I didn't have, so she asked me to apply for an Ontario photo ID card first. That costed us around $35. She said when I received my photo ID card, which usually takes about 1 month, I can come back to the office and apply for my health card. I do have my Canadian ID now, but I haven't been able to go back to Service Ontario yet. But we will go there sometime next month. The next thing that we did was open up a bank account. Since my husband already has an account with TD and it's one of the best banks in Canada, he preferred opening an account there for me too. I already had my SIN and a photo ID with me, so that made the process of account opening much faster. They also had a lot of offers for newcomers in Canada, like no checking fee for the first 6 months, a basic credit card with no annual fee, a $300 cashback offer, and much more.
Okay, so my next question is, how did you find Canada overall? I mean, the way of living, amenities, etc. Any concerns that you're having living here?
I'm actually really liking it here. The first thing that I was really fond of in Canada was snow, as it doesn't snow at all back home. Luckily, there was enough snow lying on the roads for me to see when I first landed in Canada. Other than that, I really like the surroundings, freshness, and especially no noise pollution, because it really amazed me that living in the city you don't hear a lot of honkings and irritating noises. Other than that, I didn't really had a chance to properly see Canada. Firstly, because of COVID, it's safe to stay inside, and secondly, I have been here for only 2 months. Hopefully this whole pandemic gets over as soon as possible, and I will definitely check out Canada and make videos on that.
Okay, so my next question is, how are you feeling about having reunited with your husband after long 12 months wait?
I cannot even describe my feelings. I don't know how can I express my happiness of having reunited with you, Mr. Hubby. I really appreciate the amount of time that he devoted in preparing my application. I have no idea how he did all this. I myself only used to complain all the time on why is my application taking so much time, never realizing all the background hard work it took to finalize my application. But nevertheless, I am absolutely relieved that I am finally reunited with my husband now.
Okay, so that was all for my questions. Would you like to add anything else for the viewers?
Yeah, I would like to add, just don't lose hope if you are still waiting for the application to process and meet your spouse. I would like to address all the hopeful applicants who currently have their spouse's application in process. I want to tell you all that please be hopeful throughout the whole journey. The world is going through a very hard time today, and it is also affecting the processing of your application. So I will request you to be patient. You will hear good news very soon. For those who haven't started preparing their spouse's application yet, you can check out this video. This video talks in detail about all the documents you will require to submit your application, along with a couple tips and tricks that help us in our application. Till then, stay safe, and please don't forget to subscribe to our channel as well as like, share and comment on this video.
If you have any questions, you can type it in the comment section and we will get back to you as soon as possible. Till next time.
Bye bye.